Commander Cockins and Captain Vody here, yet again for another Trekyards mission briefing, your weekly discussion Trekyards show talking about a ship of the Trek universe. What we discuss, we theorise, we look at some great pictures, and we contemplate what is and what isn't. And then we ask you guys what you think. Put in the comments below and we might put that in the future episode. That's what we do here.
Right, so this week we're taking a look at the new Klingon flagship for TNG, the Vorcha class. A great progression of the D7 class design, in my opinion. It's kind of the evolution of the D7 class design, and definitely the next step in Klingon design aesthetics.
Designed by Rick Sternbach. Our good friend,
Absolutely.
I'm sure I'll talk to him soon about it. At 481 metres, this ship was designed to look mean enough to take on the Enterprise D. And I've got to say, I think it kind of does. But anyway, let's go on to the episode.
Today is a good day to look at the Vorcha.
Yep. Very, very,
Had
very
to,
nice.
had to. Sorry.
Yep. So the first picture is, I think the first time we see it, not sure. But I remember I actually watched this episode recently. It's Gowron. It was introduced as, I think, Gowron's flagship first, or the ship that took him back to the home world. But it was like that start towards that Klingon arc. So do you remember when you first saw it on screen then in TNG?
Honestly, no, I don't. And it's never been a favorite design of mine personally.
Yeah, I see. For me, I think it feels so naturally the next version of Katinga that it doesn't stand out, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely it does.
Like the Negvar is this serious beefy battleship. I remember all of its appearances, but this one's like it just came in and made sense. It's just the TNG Katinga. It has all the basic same lines, but way more detail and some pretty unique things.
I do remember thinking it's nice to finally see a new Klingon design, because
Yes.
we had only seen like D7s and Katingas and that kind of aesthetic
And Bird
until
of
then.
Prey, yeah.
So-
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And in terms of design, I think it's pretty good. Keeps all the same stuff. And I like the pincers. It's actually kind of cool.
And that big ass weapon in the middle of them, like that's what the first thing you see when you meet this ship. Like, okay, I know where we stand now.
I mean, you can imagine this being the theoretically new Klingon flagship. It's going to be heavily armoured. I mean, we never really get to see it at its full potential. Although it does get very badly damaged by 2 cavorts. Or is it 3 cavorts? So, I mean, that's not exactly a good sign if it can be taken out. That said, they are heavy cruisers as well, so...
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the next picture. This is it facing off against the Galaxy class Enterprise D.
And you can see that it's meant to be quite big. Yeah.
Yes. Very beefy looking impulse engines back there.
Yeah. But very Katinga-like. And I gotta say, it's very dimensional. Like, the plating really feels 3D, and there's, obviously the top plane and all these... Like, it's nicely leveled. It makes sense.
Absolutely.
And the Klingon symbol proudly put on the wing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it does look dangerous. And also, sort of... Not so much these sections, but the wings, quite minimalistic. Like, they are armoured. They are just pure armour. You're not going to get through those sort of thing. That's what I feel like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the back there. I see those white... Are those escape pods? Are they doors?
See, I hadn't noticed them until this picture, but I would guess they were shuttle bay doors.
Oh, possibly.
Like fighter, because we know Burrell's, or the smaller version, or some other Klingon fighter, but this is a big ship. It would make sense to have a good-sized, yeah.
Just multiple doors for a shuttle bay. It's an interesting idea.
I like the grating on either side, because it's very much the Bird of Prey, just bigger and more refined. I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So the next one is a scale chart, which is always important.
Yeah.
They really beefed up this compared to the Katinga and D7. I mean, this is a big ship.
Yeah, they just basically doubled the size. A little bit more, maybe. But
Well, I think they did an Excelsior treatment, really, because if you look at the A versus Excelsior, it is over double the size. I think it might be the Connie's the refit's the same size as the nacelle. The Excelsior's got huge nacelles, but same here. I mean, can you just take your head around the fact, that the D7 seems so big in TOS, but the warp engine of this ship is the same size as the entire Klingon battleship from TOS and the movies. Like,
well, the same can be said for the Galaxy class, because the engine on that
Yes.
is the same size as the Connie, right? So
yeah, yes, I believe so. But that is the level of beef up they did, and then same with the Burrell. But it's a very nice step between Katinga and Negvar. But yeah, it's definitely in step with the D, but it's not an Explorer, so I guess it can be more compact, I would guess. Yeah.
An interesting design choice to kind of get rid of that raised bridge section from the front portion of the ship, move it back a little bit, kind of breaks up the profile a little bit and makes it distinctly different from the Katinga profile.
See, my guess would be that this entire front section is the Disruptor and torpedo arrays. Like, it's just the big weapons pod. And they thought, because you're increasing the size so much, that why not have then the control section in a different part of the ship then to give that entire front weapons rather than.
It almost looks like it could detach that front part.
I think you probably can. This ship, I know that this section, when Rick originally designed it, was meant to be a separate portion, section. So I mean, there's definitely obviously the Eagle Moss model is made in a certain way. There's going to be lines. We've seen that in other models, but there is a distinct line here.
Yeah, there is in this picture too.
Yeah.
Now this, I wonder if that's the separation line. I mean, because
we know the separation.
We know the D7 and the Katingas have a separation line right against the secondary hull, so the front boom comes off. This design doesn't. That wouldn't work with this.
It almost feels like, I think I've said this for other ships. It almost attaches and becomes like a weapons pod. Like the whole ship can go away and it can be like a turret almost, a very, very large turret. That'd
be cool. A remote-controlled turret you can kind of place in orbit or something to protect a starbase.
I mean, not that I'm saying Klingons can be cowards. They can, but I'm not saying they can. But strategically speaking, the flagship, why not have a detachable pod that is armed to the teeth that can give you the extra 2 minutes you need to warp out there? Why not? I mean, he's Gowron or whoever's got to survive. I mean, makes sense. But it's a much beefed up ship. But I think, especially if you look at the side profile, barred, like you said, the front part, it's basically the same.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that because it does have that Matt Jeffries. I think Matt Jeffries would approve, honestly. I think it does follow that, especially since in TOS, obviously, we never got a sense of the Klingon culture beyond the basic uniform. But we know that in TNG, we've got Mek'leth, the Batleth, all these sharp, pointy weapons as standard. Even their Disruptor is pretty damn pointy. So I think this sort of thing makes sense. I think personally. But yeah, keeps that same aesthetic, which I really like.
And it's definitely got an aggressive look, which is definitely Klingon.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's moving on to the next one. We got the top view. Oh, yep, separation plane. First thing I noticed.
Yes.
Right there, so it does separate.
Oh, and no, it says forward bridge is on the front. Forward bridge is this bit.
Wow. Yeah, but it's not raised. It's not raised, though.
Well, it's raised a bit. I mean, it's raised enough.
A little bit, but not the raised part, like the hat.
That says that's the shuttle bay and tactical bridge. Ah, that's interesting.
Very interesting. And the main shuttle bay is right in the middle of the ship, basically.
Okay.
But there's an aft shuttle bay as well.
Yep, glad we were right. Oh no, it's the top bit.
It's at the top, yeah.
Interesting. I love the detailing though.
Oh, I can't wait to talk to Rick about this ship though, eh?
Yes.
Looking at this, all the details on it, he's gonna love talking about it.
Actually, yeah, there's so much dimensionality in these nacelles. Like, I own the model. Like, you would think I noticed it, but I mean, seriously, look at that nacelle. Look how many different planes, and look how he had to design that. I mean, someone had to build that. It's great.
That is great.
Just saying. Anyway, next picture is the side view. Looks like the same rough plans. And we get to see through the ship. Big ass warp nacelles. Different design to the Federation ones, which we have big coils. This looks more different style. I don't know. Difficult to explain.
Yeah. There's an Imperial yacht. Captain has a yacht, apparently.
Where's that?
Right by the ceremonial chamber.
Weird. I like that. Captain's yacht with an Imperial yacht. So where are you going, Captain? To the Imperial hut. Imperial yacht targ hunting. Like, oh, okay.
I don't have a model, so can you look and see is there a visible
not
little
really.
drop ship there?
Not really, no. It's just plating.
I wonder if that's like official that it's there or not. I don't know, because it doesn't seem like something the Klingon would have.
But then if it's the flagship, though, I can see maybe.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say they would have that sort of thing. I like now again, Rick. We know that it's meant to detach, but you're right. The back is a shuttle bay, and I like seeing all different shuttles. It makes sense to me though. I mean, having the aft shuttle launch department and also there. Again, we never really got to see Klingon shuttles. That I think there's a missed opportunity there.
Oh, absolutely, it was.
We've got phaser banks on the top of the shuttle dome thing with a aft. The aft navigational deflector is in the front of this bit.
And what is an aft navigational deflector? I saw that on the last picture, and I was going to mention it.
Why is it on the front of the ship? All right, well,
well, it's aft mounted, but it's a navigational deflector. But there's two of them. It's got the forward navigational deflector or long range sensor array on the front. Oh, but for separation after they separate, obviously. Duh.
Yeah. It's probably just because it's such a big ship. Yeah. I know the Galaxy doesn't, but also the deflector's bigger. Like that takes up a huge chunk, so maybe they have to have two dedicated ones that are smaller. Because I mean, if it's there, that's not very big, honestly. And there's no obvious point for that.
It makes you wonder how official these plans are, because that yacht thing kind of throws me off. I don't know.
Oh, there's also a shuttle bay at the back of this section as well.
Yep, I noticed that.
So they really have a lot of shuttles, which is not a very Klingon thing to do. Unless they're suicide shuttles, which faster is a thing.
Starfleet battles, yes.
Starfleet battles, yeah. Anyway. Oh, it's your next, isn't it?
Yeah, and so the next picture is interesting. It's an overlay of the Negvar and the Vorcha, and it shows that the center section, the main boom, is actually pretty much identical. I think that's where you might have started the design from and just kind of modified from there.
This one in particular, I have read the Eagle Moss thing, so I do know the backstory behind this model, which I'm not going to say because we'll have Rick for that. But it certainly has an interesting backstory for this, for the Negvar anyway. But it is interesting. It does feel like they took the basic design and added on, but in like a, it almost makes sense like it's an evolution. It's a build-up of the Matt Jeffries D7 design. Like, this is the shape, but now let's make it bigger, more armoured, a bit more facilities. It's interesting. Obviously, it's not to scale, because the scales are completely off, but...
well, yeah, exactly.
But it's interesting. It'd be kind of cool to see a ship that has both, like... That has the two bottom nacelles of a Vorcha with the two top nacelles of a... Although, no, I guess the Negvar does have two bottom nacelles and two top nacelles.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. But the next picture is very much in canon, a Klingon style thing. Crew 450. Interesting. That's the same as the Constitution class, so even though it's much, much bigger, less people. Relative.
Again, how official is this?
Sure.
This could be a fan-created thing, right? So...
What's your favourite view of this ship? Or is there any view you don't like?
I don't like the profile. It looks like a D7, but it's like the D7 that a kid drew. The front and aft views look awesome. I love that look. And also the top view is very, very cool.
Yeah, yeah. Especially with how the neck connects. It sort of goes in. That's an odd choice for the side view, like you say. But the top view I like. I think the top view looks pretty good.
Yeah. And the front view just looks like a D7.
Yeah, both those views do, which is probably a good thing. I mean, I think if as fans are like, hey, it's an evolution. Makes sense. Cool. So the next picture is what we always like, another look through, and we use these regularly. Does it say how many crew? No, it doesn't. But mass 2 million metric tons. Good to know.
So that front part's called the Disruptor module.
That would make sense. And you've got a torpedo launcher, which is there. Oh yeah, that makes sense in that section.
Yeah. This has a tractor beam emitter at the front there. On the last side view we had this cutaway, the tractor emitter was actually located farther back on the bottom, but it could be that there's multiple ones. So
it's got aft torpedoes. Good. We never really get to see these ships their full potential. Again, it's always about the story, isn't it? Oh, the ship has to get beaten by this ship, or oh, DS9 can blow it up with 3 torpedoes. Or that was a Katinga, but you know what I mean? It's just one-on-one. It'd be lovely to see these in real battles and get to see what they're fully able to have.
And I'm noticing, too, that there's no captain's yacht.
Oh, dear.
Or imperial yacht.
And it's interesting, it says here that the cloaking equipment, which seems bizarre, is roughly there. Right on the bottom in the middle. I would have it much more secure. I mean, these ships... I mean, the Klingons are necessarily not the prize example of Klingon tech, of a cloaking tech. I mean, they're warriors, why they necessarily have cloaks, but why would you put it so exposed? Don't know.
Interesting point.
Oh, and
I'm noticing too. There's not as many shuttle bays on this ship. There's like one rear-facing one, and that's all I can see. I don't know if it's just because of the way this is.
Yeah, there's a turbolift shaft where the top one would be. Although I noticed that what appears to be, if you look above the engines, now it implies, at least to me, that there are disruptors in the wings, because they look like disruptors just above, and because it's obviously 2D, but they're not going to be in the main hull, so I'd assume they'd be sort of there-ish, which would make sense.
That would make sense to me, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, honestly, if I was designing this, I'd have disruptors, you know, there, torpedoes there, here. I mean, you've got so many points. Why not? Quantums there. Tri-cobalt there. Anyway.
Death Star planet killing ray here.
Nice.
All right, so the next one is one of Tobias's from the Lightworks. Awesome detail on this one. I absolutely love his work.
And we always love a Tobias shot. What he does well is the lighting as well, because that is lighting that we've never seen before.
No. I love the different coloring on the hull as well. You got that little bit of red.
I was about to say, it gives it a lot more dimensionality. It's much more like the Negvar second round through. Because I believe the first one was much more plain. The second one had the extra reds and things.
It's like the D7 and the Katinga. The D7 is plain. The Katinga has the red and the raised portions, and it's kind of more fancy. Yeah.
There's also grilling. Oh, there is on mine as well, actually, which is interesting. But the grilling, sort of there on the neck. I wonder what that is.
Interesting. Which leads us to our next picture.
Yep. Oh, another grill on the bottom of the head. And again,
with the glowy part?
Yes.
I would think that's the deflector, wouldn't you?
Ah. Yeah, sure. I like it.
But that being said, you go back to that last picture and there's no rear deflector there. There's nothing on that top part that says deflector. Which makes me think that one cutaway we looked at was kind of
made up, maybe fictional than fictional.
Yeah.
But yeah.
More fictional than fictional.
And you've got the wing motif a little bit with the red plating, which, as we know, is a Klingon trait with the bird of prey, and
absolutely
the Katinga and the Vorcha and the Negvar and all the ships.
I agree.
I kind of like that there's piping on either side of the nacelles. It's kind of old school because you don't get. I mean, they
look like canisters or cylinders that need to be replaced.
Yeah, they blow a fuse. They just put a fuse back in. Yeah, and the Klingons. This is a very detailed, but it's bulky yet simple yet robust yet basic. Like, it has all those different elements. I think it's a very interesting design from that point of view.
Yeah, far less sleek than their older designs, though, eh? Like the D7 is very simplistic. This is.
But is that not just because of the plating, and because, especially in this shot, you can see so many different levels on the bottom. If you remove,
that's what I'm saying, though.
I wonder what they all are, though. Unless, like we saw in one, there's a torpedo launcher. Imagine if they're all weapons. All torpedo launchers, all phasers. I mean, that would be interesting. You've got the basic shell then, just like the entire underside is forward weapons. Like the Defiant has pulse phasers in some areas, and that'd be interesting. And you can imagine, when the ship does this, it can then, even keep firing beyond just its initial first arc.
Interesting.
And the next photo is more orthos, much more classic lighting. So there's an attack cruiser, 481 length, crew complement 1900. Oof. Plus fight crew.
That's a lot more than 450.
A little bit. I believe that way more, though. I do think this ship would be full of soldiers. Full of them.
Yeah. And they're not as worried about comfort as the Federation is. And, of course, the Galaxy class has, like, over 1,000 personnel.
Yeah. And you could fit a lot more people if you lessen their crew space.
Exactly. And their recreation facilities.
Yeah, 10 forward is just Targ pit.
Probably.
with blood wine taps on all the walls. So you just go to any wall, just I bet there's probably just built-in taps all over this ship, isn't there?
Yeah. They probably bathe in wine or blood. Yeah. I don't know which.
What is blood wine? There is blood in there, isn't there? I think.
I'm pretty sure there is. Yes.
Yeah. Blood of the fallen enemies. Warp 9.6, which makes sense given the time period. This wasn't the most advanced ship.
Yep.
Also, when you consider the 9.9s and whatnot of later on, so that makes sense. Cruising speed Warp 6, yep. Very much TNG, very much Galaxy class.
18 ship-mounted disruptor cannons.
That's a lot.
And one large forward disruptor.
Yep.
That's an interesting distinction.
That feels exactly right to me for this
Well, when
ship.
you were saying this point, this point, this point,
Yeah.
this point, if there's 18, I mean, that makes... There's a lot of good mounting points for weapons on this ship, absolutely.
And I think, especially reading the flagship and the new battleship, the Klingons need to have forward firing. This is the point where why not have a disruptor everywhere? I do get the sense this has good firing arcs. A bit more Federation-y. Only 3 torpedo launchers, though. That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next.
But then again, I mean, disruptors are damn powerful, especially with an output of an attack cruiser. If you can just keep pummeling people, because you never see Federation ships just keep pummeling phasers in the same way. So I can imagine it's a bit. I think you could burn through shields. It's like pulse phasers, isn't it? They're designed to burn through and take out shields. So imagine 18 disruptor beams.
Yeah. But could they all be fired simultaneously, or is that too much of a drain on the power systems? Like, you got to wonder. If you have that many, you might fire 6, then the other 6, and the other 6, while the other ones are recharging.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But yeah, interesting.
All right, so the next picture is the first one we started with, the first time we see it. An impressive looking ship, to be sure. And like I said, that front huge disruptor is just something I would not want to see sitting right in front of my ship.
Yeah, no. I mean, especially since this is, that disruptor is the size of any shuttle. You can imagine a runabout. It's like, damn. Let's try and,
Although I'd launch a runabout in it to plug it, and fire, and it splits the ship.
There's true secondary explosions, and go for the weapons array. I'd love to see this ship in a real fight. Proper CG, proper abilities. What is the ship capable of? We never got a sense of it really, and you can't imagine the Klingons would go half-assed with a new flagship attack cruiser.
No, absolutely not.
That's
probably why it took so long to come up with a new look. They were working on something that would be perfect.
I bet they were just like, we need more disruptors. It's not being released as more than 18.
I was going to say 16 is not enough. 2 more. Redesign the whole thing.
Add more random bits and yeah, but it's cool. Although we haven't asked, does it have escape pods? Because you'd think the plating would have room for just escape pod hatches, but we haven't seen that in any previous sketches.
Well, there's just yellow things on the front there. Maybe those are...
Well, those would be disruptors, wouldn't they?
Maybe. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on each side. That's 12 on the front. That doesn't make much sense.
On my model, there's also on either side. You probably can't see it, but like phaser strips on the Icarus from Renegades, they're actually both sides.
I would imagine they would have escape pods. That would just... I don't know.
But if it's a good day to die,
that mentality is exactly...
Just stand there and take the explosion in your face.
Yeah. Same explosion from Star Trek 6 over and over and over and
then reversed. And then, Anyway, guys, that is it for the Klingon Vorcha. Any final thoughts there, Stuart?
No, like I said earlier, a great evolution of the design. I think that Klingon look is definitely carried over, and like you said, it ties in with the Bird of Prey. But it's definitely still it's a grandchild of a D7. You can tell. You can see this resemblance.
Yeah.
But much more modernized.
It's very faithful, but an evolution. And I do think the pointy works. But yeah, absolutely. Very interesting new Klingon ship, and we wanted to see more Klingon ships. We really did. And come on, guys, Rick will be coming on the show at some point to talk about this ship, and we know he loves this ship.
That'll be fun.
I think it's his favourite. I think it's either between the Intrepid or this. He most of the time goes towards this. So he's fascinated to know what he thinks. So until then, guys, please go into the comments, tell us why you love this ship, why you don't love this ship. If you think it's the most horrible or best thing ever, let us know why, because we love your feedback. And if there's any more facts you want to tell us, let us know. If you have pictures of the original studio model, let us know. We'd love to see the really nitty-gritty. Maybe they're nitty-gritty. Maybe there are escape pods and we just can't see them. Don't know. And if you do want to support the show, guys, please do give us a one-time donation over at Trekyards.com. Or if you want to support us on a regular basis, because we are releasing a lot of regular content, then please go over to Patreon and click that donate button and say 10, 15, 20, 30, 100, whatever you want to give. 200. Monthly, whatever. And help us keep the show going for a long time to come. But until then, guys, this is Commander Cockings as always.
And as always, Captain Foley.
And we'll see you next time for Trekyards Mission Briefing. Bye, guys.